Hey guys, it's Jose. Welcome to another week of continuous learning at Aspen Country Day. Today's video is going to be a fun one, a very short one, but fun one. But before we get started with anything, I do want to throw out an announcement out there. This Friday, we will be wrapping up our current unit and we'll be taking a test. The test will be on Google Forms and it will allow you to answer multiple choice questions as well as typing in your answer for other questions. You are free to use your notebooks and use your notebooks as scratch paper and use them to look at notes that you've taken. So that will be on Friday. So I just wanted to give you a couple days to just think and start studying. Your home connections homework this week will all be review stuff. So just make sure that this week you get that homework done so you're better prepared for that test on Friday. All right. While we're on announcements, also wanted to remind you that Wednesday is Earth Day. Woo, Earth Day! And so there will be no classes or assignments on Wednesday. All right, cool. Let's jump into math. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with mental math. A couple of reminders for mental math. This is on YouTube, so please feel free to pause whenever you need more time. Okay, and I will always give you a warning when I'm about to reveal the answer. So if you're not ready, please feel free to put a pause on that or click that pause button. Also, this is all mental math. So please, no writing down any notes, no trying to figure it out on your calculators, no calculators, nothing on notebooks, no pen and paper needed for this. This is all gonna be just in your head, okay? Now, I want you to start with the smallest even number. So what is the smallest even number? Okay, remember even numbers are numbers that when you divide them in half, you get equal parts. Okay, so I want you to start off with the smallest even number. Okay, great. Now I want you to multiply that number by the number of states in the USA, okay? So now we're taking that first number and we're multiplying it by the number of states in the USA. All right? Excellent, let's move on, okay? Now I want you to subtract 76. We're gonna subtract 76. Good. I see a lot of minds working out there. This is awesome. All right. Last step. I want you to now divide by 4. Divide by 4. Pause here if you're not ready to move on because I'm about to reveal the answer. The answer for today's mental math is 6. Great job. Let's jump into our lesson. All right, so let's talk about the supplies we're gonna need for today. You're gonna need a notebook or your math notebook that you have, okay? You're also going to need your student book, your home connections book. You're gonna need a writing utensil like a pencil. And also for today's lesson, you're gonna need a ruler. Now, if you don't have a ruler, maybe we could look around the house for something like a measuring tape, okay? Measuring tape would also work. Or maybe somebody in your house likes to sew, or they have one of those bigger measuring tapes that some seamstresses use. So why don't you pause the video here, grab your supplies, and then if you need some extra time, go ahead and take it to find either a ruler in your binder or measuring tape in a parent's toolbox. Ask for permission first, okay? Or any other thing that you can use to measure something. All right, go. So you're probably wondering, Jose, why do we need a ruler? That's a very good question, very valid question. Let's go ahead and turn. We're gonna do this together. So go ahead and grab your student books first. We're gonna open up our books to page 157. Okay? 157. So, for today's lesson, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be collecting some data. In tomorrow's lesson, we're going to be analyzing data. So before we can analyze data, we have to collect it. As mathematicians and as scientists, sometimes we have to collect some data from experiments that we do, for example. And so one great way to collect or learn more about a certain topic is to collect some data. So today we'll be collecting some data with our class. So we're going to start off on page 157, okay? We're going to be looking at hand span. So it says, your hand span is the distance between the end of your thumb. So if you're looking at the video, it's right here, okay? The end of your thumb to the end of your little finger, this one here on the opposite end, okay? When you hold your hand outstretched. So not like this, we're not making a fist, okay? We're not doing this little jazz hands or fingers, we're just spreading out our hand, okay? And so there's a picture there also in the book that tells you what your hand span should be, okay? So I want you to take your ruler or your measuring tape or whatever it is you have, and I want you to go ahead and measure from your thumb to your little finger, okay? Now what I want you to do though is I want you to, as the book says, measure the span of your right hand to the nearest ½ inch and record it in your student book, okay? So we're talking about rounding. So if your hand span hits below a ½ inch mark, go ahead and round down, okay, to 7 or 5 or whatever it is. If it's exactly at the halfway mark, at the ½ inch mark, go ahead and record that. We've been working with decimals and fractions in the past, so this is something that you should be comfortable with. And then if it's above the ½ inch mark, I want you to go ahead and round up, okay? So you're going to be doing this to yourself first. You're going to measure your right hand or your left hand, you know, if you're more comfortable measuring your left hand. So again, from thumb to the end of the little finger, okay? For example, mine is over 7½ inches. So I would go ahead and record that as 8, okay? Cool. So now that we have our first piece of data, what I want you to do is, after this lesson, I want you to call up some friends on Zoom or house party, or maybe you just want to give them a phone call, a good old-fashioned phone call, and connect with some of your classmates, okay? This is a really great excuse to jump on a phone or a Zoom call with your buddies, and I want you to exchange some of this information, okay? Maybe I want to call up tomorrow, maybe call up Fred and say, hey Fred, how's it going? I'm going to measure my hand and I want to collect some data about hand spans, okay? And then with the information you're collecting, you can go ahead and create a table down in number 3. Number 3 on the student book page tells you to create and fill in your table, okay? So all you got to do is collect whose information you got and what their hand span was, okay? Now, if you're saying, Jose, I don't really feel comfortable reaching out to people, you can do it with people inside your house, maybe some siblings, some parents. If you have a pet with a big paw that you don't have anybody else to connect with, that's okay. You can measure your dog's paw span, okay? Now, so you're gonna collect this information and put it into a table. While you're on the phone, you also wanna take a look at page 158 because we wanna also collect arm spans. Now, arm spans are gonna be a little bit trickier because of course it is the distance from fingertip to fingertip when you stand with both arms outstretched. So for example, right now in this frame, I can't even really fit my arm span, okay? And so what I would have to do is take something like a tape measure and really stretch it out, okay? And measure the distance from fingertip to fingertip on either side, okay? And then you can create a table for that information as well. So today your job is to just collect some data. We're gonna be measuring hand spans and arm spans of different people, okay? You only need yourself and 3 others. So if you have 3 other people at home, take advantage of that. If you want to call up some friends on Zoom or house party, whatever it is that you use, you only need 3 people to do that, okay? So that is all that we're doing in our student books today is data collection, okay? Please make sure that you have accurate measures, all right? And please make sure that you have collected your information in a table, all right? Have some fun. Let's go do this. All right, so before I move into your homework for tonight, I do want to say that I know that this might present some challenges to some of us because we're distance learning, and so we don't have people that we can walk up to in other homes, for example, or a neighbor to go and say, "Hey, can I go measure you?" We want to stay safe and healthy and indoors. And I know that sometimes measuring through Zoom or through the internet might be a little difficult, but I want you guys to really challenge yourselves and be creative, because if there's one thing you guys have shown me that you can do is get creative. So just really try your best and don't be too hard on yourself. If you can't get all the information, that is going to be okay as well. All right. So for homework tonight, we are going to be doing our home connections. Okay. For today, let me just verify these pages because sometimes I say the wrong thing in videos. We're going to be looking at pages 85 and 86. And this is going to be your first part of your Unit 4 review. Okay? So you're doing pages 1 and 2 today. And then for homework tomorrow, you'll do part 2 of your Unit 4 review. But for tonight, let's just worry about pages 85 and 86. Remember that with home connections, I want you to submit a reflection telling me how many you got right, how many you had to rework, and then what you can do better next time, maybe using some strategies that we talked about. Or maybe you want to reach out and talk to me or Fred on Zoom to help you with some of those things, okay? But just please make sure that you include that in your reflection, all right? Time to head out there. It's going to be a beautiful week. It's supposed to be warming up this week, so fingers crossed we get some nice, sunny, outdoorsy days. I miss you guys so much. Greetings from Denver. I'll see you guys tomorrow, okay? Bye.